The following video has been written and created without the use of AI. Please support your human content creators by liking the video and commenting something down below. And leave a sub if you enjoy it. Thank you. Goop was a very happy toon. He enjoyed the little things. Talking, hugging, making things with his noodly little hands and arms. In fact, he was so naive to the things happening that the other toons tried to shield him from the twisted. Even more so than their own lives. Whenever the elevator doors opened, one toon would go with him to play parent. Though try as they might, eventually it just had to be you. You were a limbo toon. A side character, like Goop, in the actual show. You had over 2 episodes dedicated to you as a little more fleshed. You had, however, 2 episodes dedicated to you, so you were a little more fleshed out as a character. You were a jet black toon with 2 big wide eyes and a white glowing mouth, roughly in the shape of a cat with a long tail, dressed in a black shirt that went down to your knees. In the show, you had the ability to create portals to introduce any significant plots. The limbo in your name here therefore wasn't in reference to the limbo dance, but rather the dimension of limbo, a grayscale nothingness that was connected to every other dimension and universe, at least in the show. Sadly though, this ability didn't translate to the real world that well. Here, your powers were severely nerfed. Your portals were more like very temporary archways through walls, and those still required there to be a room behind the wall. Though it was handy to escape and find extractors. What wasn't good was that you now had to play parent for Goop. Quietly you walked behind him while he just kept looking around. You were a rather serious toon, so being forced to protect him rather than find extractors and tapes for Dandy was really bothering you. Especially since you were so good at it. You found yourselves in what seemed to be a sort of daycare room. The walls were colorful and the toys strewn about. You suppressed a groan as Goop immediately jumped towards a toy train. "You know, I haven't had one of these in a while," he shouted, and you blinked. For a toon that was supposed to be an adult, he had the attention span of a toddler. But as you averted your gaze to inspect the room more closely, you noticed a certain smell. You raised an arm, and it did not come from you. This strange chemical smell. Yes, there was an extractor here. Abandoning Goop, you quickly approached what looked to be a janitor's closet. Opening it, you were greeted by the machine. Your eyes widened with joy. Speeding up the extraction process meant that you'd have to watch him less. Your paws gripped the machine's valve and you started turning. Though in your excitement, you didn't hear Goop, who had stopped playing with the choo-choo train. In fact, he had dropped it, and quickly hid beneath a toy shelf. Something had opened the door the 2 of you had closed behind yourselves when you entered, just in case. And it wasn't a friend who entered, but rather something Goop wished he'd never seen at all. It was him. Well, not him, but another him. It was taller, lankier, and black ichor poured out of his eyes. This must be a twisted. The things the others talked about. The other toons that were evil. And absolutely should never be hugged, talked to, or even touched. The problem, the creature was walking towards the door you had walked into. Its head was rocking left to right as it walked. "No," he hushed. And for a moment his twisted counterpart stopped moving, only to then raise both his noodle arms and... The valve on the extractor was stuck due to rust, and you had problems turning it. Sweat was running down your neck from the effort you had put in. The metal creaked, but you managed. When suddenly, 2 hands gently placed on your shoulders. You shook and then sighed. "Not now, Goop, I'm busy." But the hands rather than retreating with a disappointed sigh, remained. In fact, their grip strength increased.
Ow! Goop, you're hurting!
You turned around only to see the vague silhouette of something that wasn't Goop. One of the hands slapped on your mouth, while the other quickly wrapped around your throat. The hand clammed over your mouth like a vice, smothering your startled cry before it could leave your throat. The other coiled around your neck, and this time it didn't hesitate. The pressure hit you like a punch, sharp, sudden, unforgiving. Your windpipe compressed under the weight of its grip, a brutal squeeze that sent a hot spike of pain up the back of your skull. Your breath cut off instantly, not slowly, not gently. One moment you were inhaling, trying to say something, and the next your body was thrashing, demanding air that wasn't coming. Your claws dug into the rubbery flesh of its wrist, but it didn't give in. There was no muscle to bruise, no bone to snap. Just that cold, sinewy arm that felt like it had been soaked in stagnant water. It flexed once, tightening further, and you felt something deep in your neck strain with a sickening tension. Your head was starting to pound, your temples pulsing with every wild throb of your heart. A high-pitched whine rose in your ears. Your legs kicked blindly, striking the extractor valve behind you. Metal shrieked, something clanged the floor, but it barely registered. Your body was burning from the inside out. Your lungs screamed, aching for oxygen. Your chest convulsed, trying to force a breath past the blockage, but every gasp came up empty, shallow, useless. Pain shot down your jaw, sharp and electric. Your tongue pressed against the inside of your mouth, but it felt swollen and foreign. Your vision was swimming. Now colors popped like a kaleidoscope. Too bright, the edges too sharp, like the whole room had tilted sideways. Every second without air felt like it stretched forever. Your body was overheating, nerves firing off in panic. The thing tilted its head as it watched you. Its face was a mockery of concern. The twisted Goop's features sagging in all the wrong places, like melted wax. Its grin twitched wider than your legs finally buckled. The bones in your neck ached beneath the crushing grip, joints popping under the strain, and then a numb thud, followed by the immediate lessening of the grip, forced you to cough as you plunged to the floor. Air returned to your lungs as you retched and gurgled. It felt strange, but good. You had almost passed out. A new pair of hands found your form. Panicked, you slapped them, but they quickly placed onto your cheeks, forcing you to look up. It was Goop, the real one. He looked at you with a big smile, though it felt forced, and quickly held you up.
Come on, we have to go. Don't look.
But your body still felt numb.
What happened?
You croaked, as he helped you walk through the daycare room. He strategically turned your head to not look at the twisted. The Toon forced a smile.
I just knocked him out,
he stuttered. You pretended to not see the ichor stains in its fur. You pretended to not see the ichor stains in Goop's fur. You had enough of your senses left that you could tell he probably did something unspeakable to the twisted to save your life.
Tell me, I'm a big girl.
Uncomfortably, Goop looked behind himself towards the door of the daycare. You are now in a lounge area with pleasant wooden furniture and a few bookshelves and couches. He sat you down on one of them and hopped down next to you, both your legs dangling.
I saved you,
he said, almost absent-mindedly sounding.
I know. But what did you do?
His fingers twitched, and reassuringly you placed a hand on his shoulder.
Don't you... Oh. Don't you turn twisted now.
He looked at you. A tear, not ichor, but a shiny clear one, rolled down his cheek.
I didn't want him to do things to you. I just tackled him on the ground, and there was the train, and...
He mimicked a bashing motion with his hands. You could practically see in front of your inner eye.
Goop.
He kept going, his movements becoming more frantic, as the mere idea of you dying floated in his mind.
Goop.
You placed a paw on his chin, making him look at you.
That was brave. But brave?
He repeated, confused. His fur felt eerily cold, as if all the life in his body had vanished. Since your fur was jet black, like ichor, you began brushing the thick, slimy material off of him. It practically vanished in your fur.
I mean, the last time I saw a twisted that looked like me, I almost peed myself.
He put his brows looking at you.
Really?
You didn't. To you, it just looked like a thing wearing an imitation of your skin with red contact lenses, but you wanted to cheer him up. Which was something you wouldn't be doing if he hadn't saved you, since you only liked and or helped toons who helped you first. Or in other words, now that he proved to you that he was worth caring about, you went full mommy mode.
Yes, you're an adult now. You're a brave man.
I'm a man!
And brave men get rewarded, yes.
You slid your paws through the tuft of his head. He giggled, forgetting for just a moment how he got into this situation to begin with. But then he frowned as he remembered.
Did I,
defend me? Yes, you said quickly.
You saved my life.
You purred.
I think you finally deserve one.
He tilted his head and without warning you hugged him. Your arms locked around his hip while you rested your head on his shoulder. He made a noise similar to a dove being fed. His eyes widened with excitement. His heartbeat increased, pumping precious, lively liquids all throughout his body at an exhilarated speed. He warmed up again. His fingers crawled up your back, taking hold. But inside you there was turmoil. While he calmed down, you were having a little meltdown. Only a teeny tiny little one, because he was so fluffy. It was so difficult to not immediately start rubbing your face against him. He felt wonderfully soft, the tiny hairs covering his body. It was like touching a little cloud. Exhaling as your ichor quickened, you whispered,
"Now, do you want a reward for saving me? A real one?"
He let go, leaning back a little, but then he tilted his head.
"Why are there hearts in your eyes?"
Quickly you looked away, rubbing your face.
Are they gone?"
"No." Embarrassed, you gritted your teeth.
"Anyways, I'll show you something only us adults can do. Get ready."
You leaned in, and he let you. His breath caught us. Your lips met his. It started soft, but quickly bloomed into something deeper. His mouth moved clumsily against yours, eager and sweet. His arms beginning to snake around your waist, long and stretchy, pulling you in, flattening you against him like warm ribbons of velvet. He tugged you closer, his fluffy chest compressing gently under your touch. Your claws combed through his fur, curling into it, sinking into the drowsy softness that made your head spin. His arms wrapped tighter, instinctively, looping once, then again, until he had you bundled up, as he was afraid you'd melt away. And maybe you would. He tilted his head, popping away, before trying again. This kiss was less awkward, as he was more sure of himself. You pressed further into him, lips parted. You could feel his warmth hum through your skin, his fingers trailing down your back, exploring, learning. One hand slid under the hem of your shirt, hesitant but wanting. It tickled and made you flinch, just slightly. He pulled back, worried. You gave him a smile and leaned in again. Your paws roamed, one on his shoulder, one sliding down his side, tracing the shape of him beneath all that fluff. He felt like a plush toy come to life, and yet there was something solid, something real beneath all of that. One of his arms stretched down, circling around you, stroking the back of your thigh. It curled, gently pressing, drawing a small gasp from your lips. He paused, as if checking if that was okay. And when you didn't pull away, he went further. The arm wrapped again, this time under you, lifting slightly, just enough to make your toes leave the... just enough to make your butt leave the... just enough to make your butt leave the cushion. Your tail flicked, your breath hitched. You purred softly against his lips, and he shivered from head to toe. You buried your face into the side of his neck, inhaling him. He smelled like ink and paper and a little bit of sugar. One of his fingers coiled around a lock of your hair, playing with it, careful, gentle, like he was handling something sacred. Your paws slid deeper into his fur, feeling the warmth of him, the softness of his belly. Your claws teased little circles into him. He squirmed in your grasp, making tiny, helpless noises that made your stomach flutter. His stretchy limbs moved with a life of their own, one sliding down your side, another curling up behind your back. It felt like a warm blanket was draping over you, but it was alive and responsive, intimate, intent on making you feel good. The pressure of his embrace shifted, your body molding into his, like he was trying to become part of you, fuse with you, like this was the most natural place in the world for him to be. The lips met again, hungrier this time, deeper, your tongues touching, your chests pressed against his, your legs brushing. You felt yourself melt, just a little, just enough. You pulled back, only when the need to be. You pulled back, only when the need to breathe became unbearable. And even then, only barely. Your eyes locked with his, bright, innocent, but something new, something flickering in that glow. His hand brushed over your cheek, then your jaw, then slid down your neck, tracing every curve, every rise of fur. You leaned into his touch, your body hot, your thoughts messy, your heart drumming like a cartoonish timpani. Your heart drumming like a cartoonish timpani. All the while, his arm held you, soft, endless, winding around you like vines in bloom. He smiled that dopely loving smile, and you knew you were doomed. You knew that you liked him. Hey, you reached the end of the video. That makes you part of the exclusive club. Our secret password for the month is Morning Glory. Leave it in the comments below to tell your fellow members you watched the video until the very end. Lastly, before we say goodbye, I want to take the opportunity and thank my channel members. ADHD_Neptune, EEGG, Andrejama, Jaws, Melofia, Maxicat, Alison Watkins, Mystic Jade 111, Giovanna Moretti, Twilight Mia, Angry Boxman, and Anonymous Weep. Thank you for being darling stewards, and of course, a big thank you to all the other channel members. It's you who keep me alive. Thank you. Goodbye.